is the latest in a series of attacks, and the Jewish community is very on edge. And we want the federal government to do more, and we'd like to see an increase in the budget for the protection provisions.
Jerry Nadler, the Democrats demonize, vilify Israel, and promote Hamas. And then he wants more money. He wants more funding, for government. Because he's a communist, Schweinhund, pig dog. Hey, maybe you guys should stop inviting jihadis into the United States and setting them loose on us. Just a thought. Tricia McLaughlin, the wonderful spokeswoman for the Department of Homeland Security, with a tweet. The Colorado terrorist attack suspect, Mohammed Soliman, is illegally in our country. He entered the country August 2022 on a B-2 visa that expired in February of 2023. Now, that's more than 2 years ago, right? He filed for asylum September of 2022. He did not get asylum. The Democrat Party is, the blood is on their hands, the fuel oil is on their hands as the burn scars on the Democrats, entirely on the Democrats, because the Democrats, they're not the good guys. Not the good guys when it comes to anything. I'll tell you. We posted our man Kevin Tober posted on our Twitter account today also the Chris Plant Show logo and the American flag flying beautifully in the wind with an American bald eagle, the American eagle over the American flag. Says the only pride flag you should be flying. The only pride flag you should be flying. But the Democrats, they burn the American flag. They burn the Jewish governor's mansion. They burn Jewish marchers in Boulder, Colorado. They burn Teslas across the United States at dealerships and so on. They shoot members of Congress. They shoot President Trump. The Democrat Party is a real problem, I've got to say. And you set 8 Jews on fire because your boy Mohammed is in the country illegally. What'd you think he was here? This is the Democrat Party's vetting process. Just amazing. Also, I was talking about Lindsey Graham being attacked because he put out a mock tweet. Greta Van Thunberg, the child prophet of apocalyptic doom on the weather. She's on a multi-million-dollar sailing yacht that belongs to somebody else with a giant Palestinian flag flying on the bow. And there's Greta bouncing around on the bow of the yacht. They're headed to Gaza to provide assistance to a terrorist group called Hamas. And Lindsey Graham, and by the way, you're not allowed to just motor into Gaza because there's a war going on for civilization, and Israel, a great military power in the region, has said you're not allowed to just take your boats and ships into the Gaza, particularly when we know that you're there to provide assistance to the genocidal death cult of Hamas, right? And so great stuff because the Israeli media is on it, the Times of Israel is on it, and they've got a great article on it, and they point out that you're not allowed to just motor in to Gaza on somebody's multi-million-dollar sailing yacht to provide supplies to Hamas, right? And now they've got this lefty who is, I think he's not still, he may no longer be an MSNBC host, but this is kind of amazing. They've got Mehdi Hassan attacking and they're just completely ridiculous, attacking Lindsey Graham, saying that he is what? Lindsey Graham is threatening what? These people. Yeah, Mehdi Hassan is saying that Lindsey Graham is threatening to bomb a yacht with civilians on it, because that is just berserk. I've got to say, our Democrat Party and the Democrat Party in the United States of America. They're just unbelievable. Oh, yeah, I got to get to, speaking of which, Joe Scarborough, too, because he's a ridiculous mockery of a fake journalist. Just amazing. Man, they're so angry about everything all the time. Mehdi Hasan, he's a fake journalist, a radical, anti-American. Mehdi Hasan, a jihadi. And he's mocking because Lindsey Graham tweeted, "Hope Greta and her friends can swim," and then posted a link to the Times of Israel. And the Times of Israel says, you're not allowed to just come in with supplies for Hamas, and we control the Mediterranean Sea around there. But Mehdi Hasan, MSNBC anchorman, I think until recently. And Mehdi Hasan says, a sitting United States senator threatening a convoy full of nonviolent activists, including Greta Thunberg, with a bombing. I'm sorry, did Lindsey Graham threaten a nonviolent convoy with a bombing? Is that what he threatened? He pointed out that they're driving into a war zone where the superior military power does not want them delivering supplies to the terrorist group Hamas. And Mehdi Hasan, an award-winning Democrat journalist, continues after saying, sitting United States senator, threatening a nonviolent activist convoy, he calls it, with a bombing. That's not true. It's difficult to describe how sociopathic, unhinged, and criminal some of the pro-Israel folks have become. Stop setting Jews on fire and blowing up governors' mansions with Molotov cocktails. Then maybe you'll have a Muslim leg to stand on, Mehdi Hasan. But I'm sorry, who is doing... you guys are shooting people, firebombing people, and you call Lindsey Graham sociopathic, unhinged, and criminal? I'd deport him. Is he deportable? I'd strip him of his citizenship and deport him. Just amazing. Mehdi Hasan. Yeah. Who's doing what? And again, seven-figure NBC News journalist. Isn't that amazing? Now I think he's working for Peacock. Peacock. Man. British-American progressive broadcaster. That's what he is. I'm sorry. The senator is unhinged, not Greta Thunberg, who's going in to aid a terror group that's genocidal gang of anti-Semites. But the Democrat Party, they're in bed with Hamas. And I'd keep them away from Greta von Thunberg, too, just because. Isn't that amazing? All right, let's grab a phone call before we get back to the Democrats. I haven't gone to a phone call in quite a while. I apologize for that. Let's go to Sid, calling from Los Angeles, California. El Cid, you're on the Chris Plante Show.
Good morning, Chris.
Hey, Sid.
I just want to comment on CNN's reportage. Their comments about Boulder remind me of the George Floyd riots, and I guess we could call this a mainly peaceful firebombing.
Well, I think it is he only set fire to 8 people. Apparently, one of whom is in critical.
Only 8. A lot of people were unscathed in the fire.
Right. Well, and
in their language, this is mainly peaceful.
Yeah, mostly peaceful.
Enough people got injured.
Yeah, that's right. Not enough people, and there no fatalities as of now. But
there's one now, I believe.
Oh, seriously? One fatality?
I think so. I read that on Fox. So.
Oh, if that's true, then the news got ahead of me. I did hear this morning that one was in critical condition. 8 people taken to the hospital. I'll look for that, Sid. I haven't seen it. It's not popping up in front of me now in my news thing, but I will take a look. But you're right, of course. They tell us that violence is mostly peaceful when it's left-wing violence, don't they?
Well, don't believe your lying eyes.
Right.
If it looks like a duck and walks like a duck and talks like a duck, I guess it's a duck, but not to them. This is not a dangerous situation to them. This is mainly peaceful. And
if it's on fire, it's a roasted duck.
You're right.
Which are delicious. I love roasted ducks.
Peking, at least, yes.
Yeah, I love Peking duck too. I haven't haven't had Peking duck in a long time. I might have to go get. Now, Sid, you got me hungry now. I don't know how that happened, but we just turned the corner.
It's near lunchtime for you. So.
Yeah, now it's now I'm getting hungry, and I'm thinking duck. Yeah, Peking duck. Yeah, I don't know how we got there, but there it is. Sid, buddy, thank you very much.
You too, Chris. Take care.
Have a great Los Angeles day. All right, let's go back to the crazy Democrats. Where do you? Oh, should we go to Mo Yarborough and the idiots? Where does that all begin? Does that? Oh, I'm sorry. He was. You didn't tell me. We went right by it. Joe Scarborough on the Joni Ernst. Joni Ernst saying that. Well, we're all going to die. We're not, but the government isn't going to keep you alive forever. Maybe Jesus Christ and the Bible and God, but we had the Joni Ernst and we played Joni Ernst, who was at a town hall meeting with a woman in back screaming, "People are going to die," and she said, like, "Yeah, well, we're all going to die. It's not like a government program's going to keep you alive forever." And then on MSDNC this morning, they're talking about that terrible, awful Joni Ernst, Republican senator, Iowa, who's aware of the fact that mortality is a reality for all of humanity. And Joe Scarborough, who used to pretend to be a Republican member of the House of Representatives, then that young woman died mysteriously in his office in Florida with no explanation. And then he became an NBC fake news fanker. He's a complete fanker, this guy. Man, oh, man. Joe Scarborough this morning lashing out at Joni Ernst.
And I made an incorrect assumption that everyone in the auditorium understood that, yes, we are all going to perish from this earth.
I'm sure if Webster's dictionary wants to kind of use video in the future, put that next to clueless, because that's what these Republicans are right now. They're clueless. They're savaging healthcare in their own districts, in their own states.
Only their own districts.
And Joni Ernst feels confident enough not only to say, well, you're going to die anyway. Then she feels confident enough that she can do whatever she wants to do, go into a graveyard and make jokes about how everybody's going to die anyway.
You guys put a little too much faith in government, I think, way too much faith. So Joe Scarborough, really angry, bitter, and you heard his semi-inflatable flotation device of a third wife who has a one-digit IQ she's got a mind meld with people in North Korea. Joe Scarborough very angry that when Democrats show up uninformed, ill-prepared for a town hall meeting with their senator, and they yell stupid, like Mel Brooks things like, "We're all going to die." And she says, the senator, acknowledging reality, rolls her eyes and says, "Yes, we're all going to die." That's right. And then mocks them. "I'm sorry I didn't film in on the tooth fairy," and yada, yada. Joe Scarborough.
And this is where she comes to, which is again, making jokes about senior citizens who are going to have their health care gutted, about children in her state going to have their health care gutted, and the response is, we're going to all die anyway.
They're not going to have their health care gutted. You're a ridiculous clown, a fraud, a liar. NBC News should be denied access to government buildings. They shouldn't have press passes because they're not a legitimate press. NBC News is not a legitimate news organization. They should have all of their press badges canceled. They shouldn't be allowed to walk into the White House. I mean, they're cameramen, they're sound men. They shouldn't be recognized as a news organization. They should be not access to whatever the executive branch can do. That'd be the White House, the State Department, the Pentagon. Capitol Hill has their own system for press passes. But honestly, these people shouldn't be viewed as legitimate journalists or legitimate news organizations that they work for. Just amazing. BOGO is back. BOGO is back for the Eden Pure Thunderstorm 3 air purifier, the third generation of the Eden Pure Thunderstorm. This new thunderstorm uses two different technologies that help to kill up to 99.9% of bacteria and viruses floating in the air that you breathe. It helps to remove dust and pet stuff and smoke and everything else floating in the air that you don't want to breathe. And it gets rid of any odor with no filters to have to buy or replace over and over again. The Eden Pure Thunderstorm will help get rid of any stinky smell. Guaranteed. Trash cans, cigarette smoke, smelly shoes, musty basements, left-wing protesters. No match for the Eden Pure Thunderstorm. Any smell will disappear in a matter of seconds with the thunderstorm being on. Now, this week, you buy one thunderstorm, you get one for free. Buy two, you get two for free. You see where this is going. No matter how many you buy, you get an equal number of thunderstorms for free. So you can put one in your basement, your bedroom, your teenager's room, any place you like to breathe clean, fresh air. All you have to do is go to EdenPureDeals.com and use the discount code ChrisBogo, ChrisBogo, for buy one, get one. That's EdenPureDeals.com. The discount code is ChrisBogo. Yes, sir. All right, the clock is ticking out loud. I've got fentanyl and the FBI and all kinds of big news for you still coming up. Assaults on the NYPD from Democrats. Oh, and Memphis versus Elon Musk. Chris here with a list of things that none of us should trust. The Washington Post, the New York Times, anything on CNN. Here's a list of things that I do trust. The Washington Times. Support real journalism for just $1 a week at WashingtonTimes.com/Chris. Now, Jamie Raskin is a Democrat congressman from Maryland and an embarrassment to Western civilization. He's Jewish, but he should be disbarred or removed from the lists of Jewish people. Democrat member of the House. He's asked about Mohammed setting 8 people on fire yesterday in Boulder, Colorado at a pro-Israel march. And you know what he did? He said, oh, yeah, well, like 2 years ago in New Jersey, 3 people were shot.
Well, it's a profoundly troubling development to see, all of these violent incidents taking place against the Jewish community. It was equally appalling when 3 Palestinian young men were shot in, I believe it was Burlington, Vermont, near the beginning of the war. And we don't want wars to spill over to engulf everybody all over the world.
Oh, that's a good thought. You're a bright one. What a bright bulb. So in November of 2023, 3 Palestinians were shot and injured. They were wounded. They were not killed. But that's where his mind goes, to November of 12. Yeah, well, there was a car crash in New Zealand 4 years ago where, what are you even talking about? By the way, one of the people set on fire by Mohammed in Boulder, Colorado, one of the people set on fire, a Holocaust survivor. All right, so the Mohammed, the Jew attacker in Boulder, Colorado, 8 people were injured, aged 52 to 88. He made a kind of a homemade flamethrower to set the Jewish people on fire. The 88-year-old that he set on fire, the oldest of the 8 victims set on fire, the 88-year-old is a survivor of the Holocaust who was able to escape the horrors of European anti-Semitism and survived World War II and the Holocaust of the Socialist Workers' Party of Adolf Hitler. He made his way to the United States, not to the Middle East, not to the newly created Israeli state. Came to the United States where he knew he would be safe from this kind of madness. But thanks to the Democratic Party of the United States of America, he was set on fire at the age of 88 in Boulder, Colorado, by Mohammed the illegal alien, entirely because of the Democrats. And it turns out he had multiple Molotov cocktails in addition to the what the FBI agent there referred to as a flamethrower. And now it turns out the guy had 16 more Molotov cocktails nearby. Police found 16 additional Molotov cocktails in the area where the Boulder attack suspect was spotted. That's what CNN says. He was spotted, and then he firebombed people, and then he was arrested. According to multiple law enforcement sources, the suspect, Mohammed Sabre Soliman, he arrived in the area of the incident around 1 p.m. local time, lingered there before throwing 2 incendiary devices. Those would be Molotov cocktails. According to multiple law enforcement sources, Soliman was wearing a utility vest over his shirt and carrying a garden sprayer filled with gasoline to make a flamethrower out of it, Many witnesses said he looked like a gardener, which is racist. And he used the garden sprayer as a makeshift flamethrower, apparently by spraying gasoline in the direction of the marchers while holding a lighter in front of the stream of fuel. Investigators believe that Mohammed Soliman stopped at a gas station or multiple gas stations in the area before the attack to fill the bottles and the garden sprayer. Witnesses said that Soliman took off his vest and his shirt because they had started to catch on fire during the attack. He's setting himself on fire. It's like you're on fire, stupid moment. Isn't that amazing? Setting himself on fire. It'd be better if he just self-immolated, as is the want of so many Democrats these days. Man, Soleimani was taken to an area hospital after his arrest for burns that he sustained to his hands. And because he set his own shirt on fire, that's why he's shirtless. The Democrat Party. You're on fire, stupid! One of my favorite sound bites. You're on fire, stupid. That was a Democrat burning the American flag at Hillary Clinton's political convention in Philadelphia. And the police officer saw, as he's burning the American flag, he set himself on fire, kind of like Soliman over here.
Move back! Watch it! You're on fire! You're on fire, stupid!
I want to buy that cup of beer, too. That's great stuff, man. I'm telling you. Also, Immigration Customs Enforcement today and yesterday, launching what they're calling their largest ever arrest operation under President Trump. And I think I heard this morning that they had 1,461 arrests, including 790 illegal aliens with criminal convictions. And who is it? Dana Perino talking about it this morning?
In the meantime, in Massachusetts, you had, I think, the largest ever raid, or at least netting of arrests of 1,461 people. That's the largest so far. And those that were arrested, 790 of them had criminal convictions, and 277 had what we were just talking about, final orders of removal or deportation.
277 with removal orders from the United States, but the Democrats want more crime. I know them by their policies and by the consequences, the results of their policies. And their policies led to this terrorist attack in Boulder, Colorado, with Mohammed setting himself on fire, but not before setting 8 other people in fire, including an 88-year-old Holocaust survivor who believed that he was safe, and I'm not sure if it's a he or a she. It just says the eldest victim. An 88-year-old is a survivor of the Holocaust. Could be a woman, could be a man. But the illegal alien in the country, Mohammed Soliman, shouldn't have been in the country at all. But the Democrat Party made sure that he was, because they are not on our side. Let's go back to the audio sound bites. Let's go to number 11. That's the 1 past 10. My volume goes up to 11. So he's, and honestly, all of this is on the Democrat. There's radical Islam and the jihadis. And I got to, this guy's a jihadi in the country illegally. I think being inspired by the Democratic Party, the Democrat Party's rhetoric, the Democrat Party's actions, the Democrat Party firebombing the home of Pennsylvania's governor, who is Jewish, Josh Shapiro, firebombing him during Passover while he and his family were asleep inside the governor's mansion. And it's because the Democrat believed that Josh Shapiro was too pro-Israel, and the Democrat Party is anti-Israel in addition to being anti-American. Aren't they amazing? And Joe Biden made sure that our borders were open so that Mohammed Soleiman could sneak into the United States and be here for years on end and then commit his radical Islamic jihadi terrorist attack in Boulder, Colorado, setting an 88-year-old Holocaust survivor on fire. And the New York Times and CNN, they're okay with that. Now let's go to soundbite number 11 because changing the subject altogether. You know, Joe Biden, his brain, she's been a broke for a long time, and everybody knew it. But there was a big cover-up by, it turns out, Jill Biden, who's not a doctor, Jill Biden's chief of staff was very much in the middle of the cover-up, and Jill Biden herself very much involved in making sure that nobody said anything about Joe Biden's brain being broke. When everybody knew it, everybody knew that Joe Biden's brain was broke, but on and on. So let's go to this because number 11. Joe Biden actually had an encounter with a couple of news reporters on Friday, and Joe Biden was asked about Jake Tapper's book. Hey, and he didn't even write it. The other guy wrote it, but he couldn't get it published. So he went to a TV news anchor and said, hey, maybe if I put your name on it, you can steal all my money from me, and it'll be published at long last because you have a TV show. So Joe Biden on Friday was asked by a reporter about Jake Tapper's book, and he proved once again that his brain, she's a broke.
There's also been a lot of discussion recently about your mental and physical capabilities while you were in office.
You can see that. I'm mentally incompetent, and I can't walk, and I could beat the hell out of both of them.
Well, do you want to reply to any of those reports, and also to the fact that there are some Democrats who are now questioning whether you should have run for re-election in the first place?
Why didn't they run against me then?
What?
Do you have any regrets?
No, I don't.
No, I'm sorry, what? So he's talking about how he can beat the hell out of both of them. What's he talking about? I can walk and chew gum they say I can't walk and chew gum, and I'm not intelligent, and I could beat the hell out of both of them. And some Democrats said you shouldn't have run. Well, why didn't they run against me? That's not everybody wants to run for president of the United States, and not everybody wants to run against you. But he proved once again, and the reporters are so lame that there are no follow-ups. Good answer. I'll beat the hell out of I'll take him out behind the barn, and I'll beat him up. You really just people need to, I was going to say stop asking him questions, but by all means keep asking him questions because we're revealing the giant macro lie that Jake Tapper, fake Tapper, Finker man, that he is fake Tapper. He's peddling this book that the other guy wrote, and we all feel so bad that we didn't report for years the truth that everyone that was paying attention knew. Democrat radical Senator Raphael Warnock, who should not be in the Senate at all, but crooked Georgia election tampering, all kinds of ridiculous things. Raphael Warnock was on Meet the Press, Face the Meat, with the fake journalist Kristen Welker. NBC News, really, no press credentials for them anymore. But let's ask Senator Raphael Warnock, as Kristen Welker did, would the Democrats be better off, and that means NBC News, if Joe Biden had stopped running sooner?
Would the Democratic Party have been stronger had President Biden dropped out of the race sooner or not run at all?
Kristen, here's what we absolutely know about last year's election.
Answer the question.
It's over.
It's over. Thanks.
I'm going to spend all of my energy focused on the task in front of us.
What? I'm sorry, that's your answer? They don't have to. And Kristen Welker didn't say, well, wait a minute, that's completely non-responsive to my question. She'd just let it go. Oh, that's right. She's taking her marching orders from Raphael Warnock, not the brightest knife. And she just says, oh, good answer. And now I'm going to move on to the next thing. Would the Democrats be better off if he dropped out sooner? I'm going to focus on the future. Okay. That's real good. Our news media is the most corrupt institution in America. Kristen Welker is not bright enough to be held to a very high standard, but Bill Clinton, speaking of very high standards, Bill Clinton, he used to be president of the United States, and that was NBC Face the Meat that I just played. Then CBS Sunday Morning, they talked to Bill Clinton, and everybody saw Joe Biden in decline, but Bill Clinton asked him, and you can bet $1 he's going to lie to you.
I had never seen him and walked away thinking he can't do this anymore. He was always on top of his brief.
Liar.
You never saw any cognitive decline.
So
no,
I didn't know anything about any of this.
I didn't know anything about any of this. Of course, everybody knows that Bill Clinton is famous for a couple of things. The sexual deviancy, and then, of course, lying all the time.
I want to say one thing to the American people. I did not have sexual relations with that woman, Miss Lewinsky.
Ah, yes. Depending on the legal definition of sexual relations, and a conclave of left-wing Washington lawyers that have provided me with an alternative definition, so it doesn't mean what you think it means.
It depends upon what the meaning of the word
Carter.
Yes.
That was the mock edit of it. Depends on what the meaning of the word is. Pretty amazing stuff. Now, Congressman Jim Jordan was on the Republican Congressman Jim Jordan was on the television this morning talking about the Democrats and the media still lying about Joe Biden and his brain. And when they get caught in the lie, they just come up with a new set of lies. And that's what Jake Tapper has done with somebody else's book. And honestly, these people, here's Congressman Jim Jordan. He was pretty good this morning on a couple of different topics, and it was bright and early. It might have been dark and early, as a matter of fact. I think it was the 5 a.m. hour. But Congressman Jim Jordan this morning, hey, Congressman, they tell us that they never saw anything wrong with Joe Biden, and they were meeting with him in person. We all saw it on television. We all saw it again and again and again. And now they lied to us about them lying to us, which they did for years. And when they got caught, they came up with a new set of lies. Jim Jordan noticed it.
I always say the left has a template. The left will tell a lie. Joe Biden's just fine. The mainstream media will report the lie. Big tech will amplify the lie. And then when you tell the truth, they call you names. They call you racist or whatever else. Or they'll say, oh, you're attacking him because he had a stutter. No, there wasn't anything about that. We all saw that Joe Biden wasn't up to the job. Now the press is finally admitting it. I think that's the big takeaway for me.
That's exactly right. And I've got to say, it was a good one by Jim Jordan there. The left has a template. They lie. Then the media reports the lie. Then big tech amplifies the lie. Then you call them on the lie, and they attack you, and they call you names. They call you a racist or whatever. Jim Jordan summed it up pretty darn well. He obviously cracked the code long ago. And then when they're all caught in it, then the press finally admits it for a minute, and they're pretending. Jake Tapper's like, oh, yeah, I should have done this and I should have done that. Yeah. Tell your wife. Tell somebody else, because the lie is so big that even Joseph Goebbels would not dare to disbelieve it.
He could have undermined the messaging so much that he can actually control exactly what people think, and that is our job.
Yeah.
All right, the dim-witted Democrats who lie about everything. Let's go to CNN. CNN has a guy, number 17, has a guy named David Chalian, who's a Democrat Party apparatchik, and he looks at polls and things, and the Democrats don't like their party right now, and Republicans tend to like the Republican Party right now.
But this, I think, is the most fascinating. How do partisans talk about their own party? Right? So among Democrats and Democratic leaners, 32% say Democrats are the party with strong leaders. I mean, of their own kind, right? 82% of Republican leaders say that about the GOP.
Oh, wow. 82%. Good news for the Republicans, 32% bad news for the Democrats. Let's go to Dana Bash, whose ex-husband now was an Obama administration official. And listen, this made me laugh. The question that Dana Bash, talking to Hakeem Jeffries, the Democrat leader in the House, who's a radical and extremist, comes from anti-Semite stock. And listen to the question that Dana Bash actually asks the Democrat leader in the House.
Mr. Leader, you brought up polls, so let me tell you about a new one that just came out here at CNN this morning. It shows that only 19% of Americans say that your party can get things done. 36 say the same about Republicans. And just 16% say your party has strong leaders. It's pretty rough, and you are one of those leaders. How do you turn that around?
How do you turn that around? That's the question. That's the question that he gets. Now, how do you turn that? It's they're all on team. How do you turn that around? Isn't that amazing? Let's go to Scott Jennings, number 21. Oh, I'm sorry, Hakeem.
Yeah, we don't have the presidency right now, so that's always going to be challenging a few months after a presidential election.
Totally unbelievable. How do you turn that around? That's what CNN wants to know. Scott Jennings is the one conservative that appears on CNN.
Democrats have controlled the White House for 12 of the last 16 years. And for all of the talk about division and the problems in the country and people are hurting, Democrats have mostly controlled this country. Trump had it for 4. The Obamas and Biden had it for the rest of the time. And somehow it's still all Trump's fault.
And somehow it's still all Trump's fault. It's true. And that's an important metric to use. The Democrats have had the White House for 12 of the last 16 years. 8 years under Barack Hussein Obama, who's not on our side, and 4 years for Joseph Robinette Biden, who doesn't know that there are sides. And 4 years for President Trump. And then oh, no, inflation. Inflation is on it. The lie is so big.